Ashley. Welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be talking about my birth story. So, here it goes. On October 13th, I was at the mall walking around and I had like back pains. Probably from like when I got to the mall until I left. See, I was pretty big. I'll put pictures at the end of this video to show y'all how big I was. And so yeah, I was walking around the mall and I was like waddling because I was so huge. So I had my grandma take me to the hospital all the way where I lived. See, we were like 48 minutes from the hospital that's near my house. So I go to the hospital and I get there and they say that obviously I'm 1 centimeter dilated. So they put the little thing around me and I'm kind of like having contractions, but not too much. No, actually, I think I was 3 centimeters dilated when I got to the hospital. So I was in like early labor, and they were going to let me go into labor at home. Like they were gonna let me start labor at home or whatever. I don't remember. But they ended up checking my urine, making me take a urine sample, and I had protein in my urine, which isn't good for the baby or me. So they said that I was showing signs of preeclampsia because my blood pressure was so high, and so they said that they would check me by the morning time, and if I still have protein in my urine by then, that they'll go ahead and induce me. So I walked around the hospital that night. They went ahead and admitted me into the hospital. So I'm in the hospital, so I walk around that night. I walk around that night and I go to the hospital. Blah, 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 blah. Fast forward until the morning time. I wake up. Oh, also that night they gave me, my mom and my stepdad came. It was funny because they gave me this stuff to like stop my contractions or whatever. Oh my god, it made me so high. Like it was horrible. But I ended up going live on Instagram or something. I don't even remember. And I told my mom to scratch my back and everything. I was so high, it was hilarious. But fast forward until the morning time, they have me take another pee test, and I still had protein in my urine, so they said they'd go ahead and induce me. So they put the Pitocin, or whatever it's called, in my IV, and then they gave me the stuff that helps me not feel my contractions. I slept through everything, my contractions. Some of them I did, some of them I didn't because they were bad. But I was having like heavy contractions. I also put that in the at the end. But I was in like 36 plus hours of labor. I only pushed for 3 hours. That's a long time though, but so they go ahead and so I go to the bathroom and I tell them that I feel like I have to poop. I didn't know what was going on. So they're like, no, you can't do that. And they're like, they checked me and I was only like, still like 4 centimeters or whatever. But, so they broke my water at like 6.5 centimeters at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I remember that. So as soon as they break my water, oh my god, the contractions just keep coming. Like, it was horrible. I told them to get me the damn epidural fast because it was just horrible. So they gave me the epidural. The epidural, it's not what everybody says it is. It's not scary. It doesn't hurt. And it doesn't hurt. Like, people think it hurts, but when they actually get it, everyone's different. But when you actually get it, it doesn't hurt. For me, it didn't hurt. I didn't feel a thing. I did feel it moving around in my back, which made me flinch twice. And they're like, you need to stay still. I ended up falling asleep on the nurse. So they gave me that, and so they gave me the epidural, and then I couldn't feel my legs. I was like hitting my legs. They put a catheter in me, and I told the nurse, I started getting pissed off at the nurse because I was hurting so bad. I started getting pissed off at the nurse saying I need to push, and she's like, no, you can't push yet because if you do, you'll push through your cervix. And I was like, I need to push. So we started doing like practice pushes or whatever just to get ready, and the doctor comes in. She's like, okay, well, I'm not going to come in until we're actually ready to deliver the babies. I was just doing practices. Well, I remember getting mad at one of my friends that was there. Well, she's like a mom to me. She's older than me, way older than me, but she's raised me since I've been 3. I remember getting mad at her because the nurses wouldn't come to the room. Like, I kept calling because I was, like, in pain. I was hurting. And I had back labor mostly, but when I was, so they told me that I could start pushing. So I did, and I got mad because one of the nurses was like, you need to push with your back, not your head. I was like, I am, damn it. And I told my mother to shut up. That was the funniest part. I told her to shut up, and she was like, I don't know, because she was crying. I don't know why I told her to shut up. I was in pain, and yeah, I told her to shut up. So what I do, they're like holding my legs, and they forgot to count, and I was like, I told them to count, and they're like, and then the lady that's like raised me since I've been 3, she's like, oh yeah, 10, and then 5, 6, okay, it was hilarious, but I was like, so fast forward there, I didn't really have any well, yes, I did have a complication. They had to put this monitor on his head in my vagina because he was they needed to listen to his heart, so they had to put that in there because he his heart rate was going down, and so was mine. So I ended up having to have a oxygen mask on me. I don't even remember how it I don't even remember putting the oxygen mask on myself or whatever, but I remember asking them for ice. My mouth was so dry. I kept asking them for ice. I kept trying to throw up. It was just horrible. But, like, I pushed for 3 hours, and when you push, like, it felt like you had to poop. I'm sorry if anybody thinks this is gross, but it literally felt like you had to take a big poop. It was so bad. Like, it was bad. My water didn't break. It broke. They broke it, like I told you before. But yeah, when I didn't feel his head come out, but I did feel his body come out. That was like a weird sensation, but it felt good at the same time because I was exhausted, and I wanted the baby to come out. He was 6 pounds, 11.6 ounces. So he was very small. Everybody thought I was having twins, and it was